Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. My Choice Monday this week is going to be my response on a horror tag. Sean Erschen came up with the most underrated horror tag and tagged a bunch of people. Jen and Christian did a response and tagged me. So thank you very much, Jen and Christian. And we're going to get started because this is 9 questions. So, question number 1 is, what is the most underrated horror film of the last 20 years? Now, I just watched this again. I had a bunch of them for my final, final 10. But this is one I never hear anyone talk about. I've seen it like 4 or 5 times now, and it just blows me away. The film is called Emily. If you guys see this, pick it up. You will not be disappointed. It's very real. It's disturbing, and it's really creepy. So, Emily, most underrated horror film of the last 20 years. Question number 2. What is the most underrated slasher film of all time? My second choice, and what was going to be my first choice, is a movie that I talk about a lot and that I absolutely love. It's a low-budget film called The Sleeper, but it has become a little bit more popular lately, especially since Scream Team released a Blu-ray of it. So I'm going to pick a different one. And that is going to be a movie that I just reviewed recently for Slashback called Dangerous Game. A movie that most people don't know exists, but it is a fantastic, fantastic slasher. Definitely needs to be talked about more. Question number 3. Who is the most underrated horror director of all time? This is actually what took me the longest to figure out, because people that are horror fans, we all know a lot of the directors like Carpenter and Cronenberg, all them guys. So, underrated to us may not be underrated to most people. With that being said, I picked a couple people that people don't talk about quite as much. I picked 3. Number 1 is Kevin Tenney. He did Night of the Demons. Stuart Gordon, he did some of my absolute favorites, Dolls, Castle Freak, Pit and the Pendulum, movies like that, Dagon. And the third one I picked is Lucky McKee. I find him criminally underrated. He's generally known for doing adaptations of Stephen King films, but he has done some other stuff like May, which I think is a phenomenal film, and The Woods, which is a really good witch film, if you've never seen it. Who is the most underrated actor of all time in horror? This is question number 4. I really wanted to say Rutger Hauer because he was my favorite actor of all time, and he just passed away, R.I.P. But I really couldn't do that because he does get a lot of notice for some of the movies that he's done. So I picked a different actor, Desmond Harrington. Desmond Harrington was in Wrong Turn. He was in a movie that is also criminally underrated called Love Object, and it's really, really disturbing too. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones he was in. I had him in my brain, but it doesn't work that great anymore. But yeah, Desmond Harrington, definitely look him up. He's been in some really good ones. He also was in Dexter for a while. Question number 5. Who is the most underrated actress of all time in horror? This one came to me right away. She hasn't done a lot of horror, but her performance in a newer film blew me away and I think deserved an Academy Award. You guys probably know who I'm talking about now, and that's going to be Toni Collette from Hereditary. Just an amazing, amazing performance. Underrated actress, in my opinion, overall. And she's amazing. She also did a series on Showtime that my wife and I used to watch called The States of Terror, something like that. where she played a person with multiple personality disorder. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. United States of Terror, that's what it was called. Question number 6. What is the most underrated sequel of all time? This I'm probably going to get some flack for, but I picked Children of the Corn Runaway. Children of the Corn, other than the first one, has had some pretty bad sequels, like Hellraiser. They kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. This kind of slipped through the cracks and didn't get much attention, but I find it to be, and this is not going to be a popular opinion, but I find it to be every bit as good as the original Children of the Corn, maybe even a little bit better. I thought the acting was great. I love the storyline. I like that it's not a direct sequel, but it feels like a direct sequel, if you understand what I'm saying, because they reference the original film a lot. So, yeah. Children of the Corn Runaway really blew me away. Question number 7. What is the most underrated death scene in a horror film? And I'm going to say any death scene from Puppet Master the Littlest Reich. Love it. Amazing. Especially when the guy gets his head cut off and he pees on his face in a toilet. It's just amazing. Question number 8. What is the most underrated soundtrack or score in a horror film? I'm going to take this as, yeah, this definitely fits. I would say Sinister. The sound design and score in Sinister makes it such a creepy film, and it's really, really unnerving and unsettling. And the music has most to do. I mean, of course, the subject matter is dark, but I don't know. It's just something about the score that it's really, really unsettling. And finally, question number 9. Corey, you're going to want to listen to this one. What is the most underrated horror film of all time? I am going to go with Fade to Black. 1980, Dennis Christopher, Mickey Rourke, Tim Thomerson. Has always been one of my favorites since I was a little kid. I really identify with Eric Binford's character, and I just love the film. Even the end may seem a bit over the top, but if you really watch the film, it fits. So, yeah, Fade to Black. And the reason why I said Corey in this one, Need Gore, because he just got this and finally watched it, was introduced to it for the first time, and it's a really, really good film, really good slasher movie. So that's it. I'm going to tag Joe the Horror Man. I think pretty much everyone else has been tagged. Let me see. Let me tag Colton. I'll tag Colton. I'll tag Adalynn if she wants to do it. Jsuperawesome, I'll tag him. I'd like to hear his answers for this one, because that man has an incredible collection. Yeah, that'll be good for right now. Hopefully it'll tag some other people and we'll keep this thing going. But thank you, Jen and Christian, for tagging me. I really appreciate it, because I really wanted to do this one, and this was a tough one for me. So until next time, guys, peace.